everybody, Phil and
Stacy
here at Woods Tree Farm. Thanks for tuning in. We are just back from vacation. We went to Australia for a couple weeks.
Hi Aussies!
Yeah, hey guys, if you're watching. And that was quite a trip. We're actually all still kind of tired from that trip, but it's such a nice day here in Central Virginia. It's in the mid-50s, blue skies, and we don't get many days like this in February. So we wanted to come out to the farm and check on the trees. It's been a little while since we've been out here. I know we had some recently published videos. Those were all filmed about 3, maybe even 4 weeks ago, and then I scheduled all those to publish while we were away. So each of our last 3 videos published while we were away. And since we wanted to come out here and check on the trees, we figured we'd share that with you because it's been a little while since we had a video with the trees in it. And there's a couple things that we wanted to show you, and maybe a couple things that we wanted to ask some of you, because I know we routinely get some people watch our videos who know a thing or two about Christmas trees. So it'll be nice to hear what you guys think about the health and condition of our trees. But before we get into that, I did have a quick announcement. We just got a fresh shipment of hats in. These of the hats that we've had so far, this style of hat, these are like a softer hat, and Caroline just ran in front of the camera here. These are a softer hat than the ones that I usually wear. So these have a kind of tighter look to your head, and I also got a couple new colors. So we've got the brown, which we've had before. We have the olive green, which we've had before, and then this is a new style, black on front with gray in the back. So we'll have all these.
I want that one.
You want that one? These are cool. I think these are gonna go quick.
Yeah.
The last batch that we had that was this style, that was black, those were the first to sell out.
Yeah, this is the one I'm wearing.
You're not wearing black though. You're wearing
no, but this was the old style.
Right, same as me. No, I'm wearing Kubota today.
You're wearing Kubota.
I forgot. All right, so anyway, we got the hats as always. I know I plugged these in a bunch of videos. They're for sale on our website, so you can go to woodstreefarm.com, and I'll put a link in the description as well. The purchase of these hats goes right back into the farm, so we appreciate your support on that kind of stuff. So without any further delay, let's take a look at some of our trees.
Hey, so here's a healthy spruce that we planted back last spring, and you can tell it's healthy because there are like little buds coming out on around the top, but also a few on the branches. There's one right here, and there's a couple over here, and it's a super healthy green color. There's a lot on the top here, so a lot of new growth coming our way. So as you can see here, this tree is kind of a lime green color. We're not really sure if it just needs some extra nutrients. It still looks like it's growing pretty well. And then next to it, it's kind of a darker green. So this one's pretty healthy. We can see some new growth on it. But as you can see down the row, it kind of there's variation throughout. There's some lime green, there's some darker greens, and that's kind of what we're seeing with the spruces right now. So we're trying to investigate if we should do some more fertilizing. So here's one of the unhealthy ones, and as you can see, there's like brown needles closer to the trunk of the tree, and it looks like growth trying to come through, but I bet you, oh, I don't know, maybe it's pretty good. So it might come back.
Right at the very top, it's missing needles.
Yeah, at the top it's missing needles where the growth is. Just not really sure what happened here. Probably got fried. Probably needs more nutrients as well. Also more lime green in color. So just trying to figure out what to do with this.
So now we're down in the section with our Scotch pine. We just looked at our Norway spruce at the top of the field. And across the middle of the field, we had fir trees that we planted in the spring, concolor fir and Canaan fir, and almost all of those were lost in the drought that we had last summer. But we did plant some more in the fall, and we'll show you those in a second. But now we're down here where the Scotch pine are. There's 4 or 5 rows of these, and the condition in here is really mixed. So for example, I'm standing right next to one that overall looks pretty healthy. It developed some branches last year, and it looks like it has a couple buds getting ready to come out this year. It's got a ladybug on it, which is nice, so it's going to eat any aphids that might be on there. But we're seeing a lot of these Scotch pines, I don't know if you can get in real close here, that have something that looks like a fungus on it. This one also has it. So there's this kind of blue-green stuff here on the top, and some of the trees have it worse than the others. So this is something that we're gonna have to look into. We have a few other Scotch pines that look like they were probably heat stressed. Here's an example of one of the heat stress trees. It lost a lot of needles on each of these branches last year, and almost all the needles that were up the trunk are gone, but there's still some needles here. They're all soft, so this tree isn't dead yet. But here's another example. I think this is some kind of bug or some kind of fungus, this powdery stuff in here. Let me pull this off, put it in my hand and see what that looks like. I don't know if that's eggs from some kind of bug or if that's a fungus, but a lot of these trees, these Scotch pine trees, have that on it, so that's something that we're going to need to look into. Okay, so these next couple rows are Scotch pine that we planted in the fall to make up for some of what we lost. And these were all bare root transplants. If you saw some of our previous videos, some of the trees we put in the ground were bare root transplants and some were the plugs. We'll show you the other trees in a minute that were plugs, but these were all bare root transplants. And the only thing that I'm seeing with these consistently up and down the row is that there's a lot of brown needles, and this might just be transplant shock, but it's something that we'll have to pay attention to. But there's a lot of brown needles here, low on these branches, and they're all coming off. But the top of the tree looks healthy. We can see the buds for next season at the top. There's a lot of them. So come springtime, those should all burst open with some new needles and some new growth. And as long as we keep these fertilized and watered, I think a lot of these should do fine. But some of them are more brown than others, and I am worried that they're not going to pull through, but we'll just have to watch and see. Now we're in the section with our Canaan firs. This is one of our lone survivors from last year. I think there's only a handful that made it through last season, but this tree overall is looking pretty good. It's got some buds here on the end of each of the branches, so those should continue to develop here through the winter and pop open come springtime. And the rest of the firs that are around are like these over here, where transplants. I think actually all the ones in these rows, these are all bare root transplants that we got from, I don't remember which nursery. I think Country View Nursery got us these. And you can see this one, for example, has a really healthy section of buds on the top. So, you know, this one come springtime should do really well. And this is what a lot of our firs look like. And then we do have a few smaller firs that came from plugs. Here's an example of one of those. The plug trees are all a little bit smaller than the transplants, but they're looking pretty good as well. The buds on these, for the most part, are smaller. So they're all looking pretty good. And again, these were all planted in the fall. So these, for the most part, haven't really taken root yet and aren't showing too much signs of stress yet. So that looks pretty good. As we move over the field here, we get into our concolor firs, and there's only a couple of those that survived last year as well. Here's one of our concolor firs that made it through last year. This is actually one of our biggest concolors that we have, and this tree is already starting to get a nice conical shape. It's got a few buds on the top, though it looks like a couple of these branches might have gotten eaten by deer here over the winter. This one, for example, and this one here. But it does have a few new buds. Down the branches, there's a few buds. This one looks like it got eaten on this side, but that's kind of to be expected. The rest of the concolor firs that are around here were all put in, and these were all plugs, so they're all considerably smaller. Here's an example. And this one you can see also has some buds on top. Its needles all look pretty healthy, and as we look down the row here, they're all, you know, 10 inches or so, 8 to 12 inches maybe, and these are all concolor firs with the longer needles than the Canaan firs.
Well, that's it about the trees today. Thanks for watching, and if you have seen some of the stuff that we showed you in the video or have any suggestions on what we should do or shouldn't do to help out our trees, leave a comment below. Also subscribe to our channel and share with your friends.
Coming up in an upcoming video, we're only about 5 weeks away from spring planting, so we've got some more prep work to do on our rows, which are just over to our left over here, the rows that we'll be using for this spring, and don't even know what else. We still have some firewood collection, and then we'll be starting to talk about Spring Fest. So if you want to keep up with the work that we're doing, like Stacy said, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.